line right now is Sheriff Rob Maciol. A couple things I want to get into with the sheriff here this morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. I want to thank you for being a part of our Heart Run and Walk Radiothon, the American Heart Association's Radiothon from WIBX in Slocum Dixon. Of course, you were a part once again of the treadmill challenge.
Yeah, it's actually a lot of fun. I'm paying for it a little bit yesterday and today. My shins, I obviously used a few muscles there that I haven't in a while because I can barely move, but it was a lot of fun. I did lose again, second year in a row to Jen. I'll say that publicly. I don't say that often, but she's a great fundraiser, and it's a lot of fun. I look forward to it every single year, and it's really neat. I cannot thank the people who called in for me enough. There were a lot of donations that were small, and there are people who had never met me before, and they just like what I was doing for the Heart Association. It's a great cause. It's a great organization. It's a legitimate organization, as legit as they come. And like I said, I'm just proud to be part of that huge day, a little part of that huge day.
I think we have to stress that a legitimate organization that has a high ranking when it comes to the ratio of money that administrative fees versus money that goes towards the cause. Those are factual numbers. And you look at just some of the people involved in that fundraiser this weekend, some of our most highly respected, business folks and residents in this community, and they come out year after year after year after year. Why are they doing that? Because it's a great organization that serves an amazing purpose, and like I said, it's as above board as they come.
Yep. Sheriff, and I just want to take a moment as well to echo Bill's comments. We appreciate your support, and sometimes you see this in sporting events when it gets to playoff time. I hope there's some consolation for you knowing that while you were defeated in the treadmill challenge by Jen Venezio, who runs Body by Design over there in New Hartford, and she's been with us for a number of years. She was again this year. She was the top fundraiser this year, raising over $1,800. So I want to thank Jen, and I guess there's some consolation knowing that while you went down, at least you went down to the champion. You know?
That's big, right?
Absolutely. There. And the one thing I'm pretty confident, you might have the numbers for me. I'm sure that our team of Jen and I together, we beat all the other pairs throughout the day. We put our totals together.
You absolutely did. You absolutely did. Over $2,000, and we appreciate that.
And I do have to say that she's like half my age, and she weighs half as much as I do. So.
But you know what? It's your presence that scares the bejesus out of her to the point where she has to raise all this money. That's the key. I believe that is the key. All right, a couple of things. First, I want to start with, I know you're looking for the county legislature to add more when it comes to school patrol officers. Can you talk about that?
Sure. Next board meeting, I'm asking for 6 additional special patrol officer positions. This is actually to fulfill a contract that we are just signing with the Adirondack School and with the Vernon Verona Sheriff School. And I need 8 positions, but I have 2 already in list that I have that aren't being used at the moment. That's why I'm asking for 6 when I'm actually going to be using 8 at those 2 schools. With those 2 schools coming on board, there is now armed, uniformed law enforcement presence at every single school district in Oneida County but one, and I'm working with that last one, but we're confident. And like I said, we are so far ahead from where we were 1 year ago with school security. And again, hats off to the county executive and the Board of Legislators for putting the $500,000 on the table for schools to take advantage of to help them get this program started in their school district.
And are you having any difficulty in finding these, once the positions are open, finding people to fill those spots?
We are certainly not in a panic mode, but we're looking for our retired peace or police officers. So that's retired deputies, police officers, troopers, correction officers, probation officers, parole officers. We're continuously recruiting. So if there's any out there listening that are duly retired from New York State and they possess a valid New York State pistol permit, they're qualified to apply. And it's one of those positions where, you got to want to work inside a school because most of them are utilized in schools.
Yeah.
But we've got great staff, and like I said, we're always recruiting because they do leave us from time to time for various reasons.
Sure.
So, excuse me. So, like I said, we're always recruiting for positions.
All right, I want to switch gears here as we're winding down on, although it certainly is not going to feel like it this week, as we're going to have temperatures below zero this week, wind chills well below zero. But we are winding down on the winter season. Is it me, or has this just been one of the deadliest snowmobile seasons we've seen in a long time?
It's certainly not you. It's definitely the most deadly since I've been the sheriff. Statewide, I believe we are approaching 24 fatalities around New York State since snowmobiling started just several weeks ago. Very frustrating for law enforcement. I mean, we do educational segments. We do snowmobile safety courses. We do press conferences statewide. We do all kinds of things. The snowmobile clubs in our statewide, and actually Oneida County has more snowmobile clubs in its county than any other county in the state, which says a lot for our area. These trails are groomed. They're professionally groomed by volunteers. But the people just, and again, each accident has its own circumstances, but a vast majority, if not all of them, are due to either speed and not being able to control their machines, or some of them and not all of them. Like I said, obviously alcohol involvement has been a factor in some of the fatalities around the state. Yeah. But it's just, the folks, they have machines that'll do 120 miles an hour, and if you're not familiar with that machine, and certainly trail riding is not designed to be going 120 miles an hour. And when folks, with the extreme cold we've had, and then the warm-ups, and then back to the extreme cold, trail conditions typically are pretty icy. So if you think you can stop a sled when you're going 80 or 100 miles an hour, if you think you can stop them on a dime, you cannot. People are losing control on curves. They're getting ejected. They're hitting rocks. They're hitting trees. And again, you're wide open there. There's no match for these, and these accidents have fatal outcomes. And it's just people have to slow down. They've got to be more careful. And again, like I said, it's frustrating for us because we're trying to do everything we possibly can, and they continue to happen, these fatalities.
It's you often hear the stories of you have so many car lengths behind a vehicle. If you're driving down the road, you're doing 50, 60, 70 miles an hour. The ability to actually come to a stop on dry roads is difficult. That's in a vehicle where you have protection. I can't imagine how hard it is to stop a snowmobile when doing 80 miles an hour.
Exactly. And again, like I said, there are times and places for people to go a bit faster on the sleds. But, darn it all, Oneida County is a beautiful county. You can ride these trails at 40, 50 miles an hour and enjoy some scenic, beautiful scenery. Why people have to go 120 miles an hour, I cannot figure that out. And like I said, the outcome is not good. Let's enjoy the trails. And like I said, here in our county alone, we have 650 miles of groomed snowmobile trails. It is a beautiful place. It's a great sport. Like I said, these volunteer snowmobile clubs, they work their tails off keeping these trails groomed. Thank you to the landowners who let all these snowmobilers use their land. They get no compensation for it. And again, stay on the trails, follow the signs. They're there for a reason, the curve signs, the slow down signs, the obstacles ahead, all these things. But please, people, don't drink and ride. And darn it all, like I said, keep your sled under control. So.
And I got to tell you, this it seems like we've had the seasons get a little shorter every year. It just feels that way. But certainly the last month to 2 months, it's been pretty good riding weather. We've had great trails out there. Do you think that has part of the reason because of an increased traffic, or is it just one of those horrible fluke years we're dealing with?
Well, I think it's a combination of everything you just said. But the one thing we have had this winter that we're not used to is the fluctuation in temperatures. I mean, we can be in the 40s, and as you said, now we're going to be below zero. That creates a lot of ice on the trails. And like I said, you can't stop quickly when you're going 80 miles an hour on an icy trail, and you're approaching a tree line, you're approaching the woods, you're approaching a bridge. That's where these accidents are happening, and people have to slow down. They have to know the conditions of their trails. And like I said, they've got to be safe out there.
Sheriff Rob Maciol, as always, we appreciate it. And again, this we talked at the beginning of the season. We do it every year. We really did not expect to have so many fatalities this year.
Exactly. I mean,
really
we had our press conference on a Friday, that first Friday, and you guys come to it every year, our safety conference. We did that Friday morning. That very next day in Herkimer County, in Inlet and Woodgate, Inlet and Old Forge, they had 2 fatalities the day after our press conference. Yeah. Like I said, that's frustrating for us. So.
Two things really quick, Sheriff. We have a listener on line 2, Bill. I didn't get his name, but has a question about snowmobiling. But also really quickly an update, if you can, on the New York Mills incident. I know it was a non-credible threat investigated by your office, but can you give us an update on that?
Sure. Yesterday, actually, it worked out well. It was a weekend. Yesterday, a student received a Snapchat message notified their parents. Parents notified school. School notified law enforcement. We responded. All parties were interviewed, both on the receiving and the sending end. Schools handling their part of it internally, but the threat was not credible. And certainly, without getting into details, no one is in any danger whatsoever, nor were they. And again, it was just a perfect. I mean, we have plans in place, we have policies in place. We work together with the schools all the time. And here's a perfect example of a great relationship with a school that Oneida County contracts with for special patrol officer services. I mean, we had a phone chain going within minutes on a Sunday afternoon. Case was wrapped up from A to Z within a couple hours. Everybody's safe. And like I said, just to make people feel a little bit safe, in addition to the SPOs, I do have uniformed deputies at the school today just making their presence known, just so parents feel a little bit more comfortable.
Wayne on line number 2 with a question for Sheriff Maciol on snowmobiling. Wayne, you're on the radio. Good morning.
Hey, guys, what's up? Just wondering, my experience with most snowmobilers, why do they always insist on, like, it's like law of the snowmobile that most of them are getting on it to go party? And is it okay to drink, or do they have some kind of control laws on that?
I don't think you can drink.
You can't, and I'm gonna let the sheriff handle that way.
All right, thank you, guys.
Thanks, man. Just listen to the answer. Sure. That is true. You get a lot of. There are clubhouses out there with alcohol. There are bars along the trail.
They do sled crawls.
Sled crawls. This is all going down a pretty dangerous road.
Sure. And again, there are very strict laws, NCON laws, regarding operating a snowmobile while intoxicated. We enforce those very strictly. We're out on the trail. The sheriff's office, I have 4 snowmobiles. We put them on the trails as much as we can. And again, it's a big county. This weekend, the past couple of weekends, we've been focusing a little bit of attention down south because we rarely get enough snow in the southern part of the county. This year we have plenty. So we've been trying to make our presence known there. We work with forest rangers, NCON, Rome Police in Rome, state police when they can get out there. So again, yes, that is correct. It is against the law to drink and drive, drink and operate a snowmobile. There are hefty consequences that come with that. Also, partying on the trail system, not tolerated, not allowed. Landowners, again, not only do they don't want that liability, but they also end up having to deal with the littering aspect of it.
Yeah.
So again, that's why we have to respect the trail systems, because 95% of the trail system is on privately owned land. Without these landowners, we would have no trails.
Sheriff Rob Maciol, we appreciate the update, and it has been a very deadly season for snowmobilers across New York State. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a great day.
You too.